My name's Randy, and I've traveled to 120 countries, and I'm on a mission to see them all. People love traveling for many different reasons. Some people like to travel to relax. For me, it's about discovery. It goes back to when I was a kid, 7, 8 years old. I was playing a video game and I got to a new level and all the surroundings were different. For me, that's what travel is like, but in real life. So stepping off the plane in somewhere totally foreign to me where I don't know the language or the customs, I absorb everything like a sponge and I leave really feeling like a new person, really feeling enriched. My top 10 is a mishmash of things. Overall, it's countries that make a big impression on me. Switzerland. What can I say about Switzerland? It's multicultural. The people are super cool. When I arrived in Zurich, this beautiful old train station had an orchestra playing and ballroom dancing. They were doing the waltz. I have one picture of myself in Switzerland, and it's the picture I took after I jumped off the bridge into the Limmat River. It was a hot day. I thought it'd be a great opportunity for a selfie. My iPhone did not agree. In Djibouti is the Great Salt Lake. It's crystal clear. The floor is salt. And when I arrived, I was the only one there. I couldn't believe it. For miles and miles and miles, I'm looking around and it was just me, bobbing up and down, enjoying myself, getting a heck of a sunburn. I stayed in the capital of Brunei, and I stayed in what they call a water village, which is basically a floating village on top of the water. Brunei is one of the most chillest regions and countries I've ever been to. This country has so much money. Everybody gets free healthcare, free schooling. Argentina is full of just so much style and grace. There's beautiful, beautiful old architecture. The steak, I've had the best meat in my life in Argentina. It's something about the cows there. It's got great infrastructure. There's a subway system. Buenos Aires is just one of my favorite cities in the world. I'm not gonna say I agree with the policies of North Korea or what their government's doing, but being there as a tourist, it was absolutely unbelievable. I'd watched hundreds and hundreds of documentaries on North Korea. So imagine watching your favorite TV show for years and all of a sudden you're on the set. When I finally landed and I was in that bus and we were driving into downtown Pyongyang, I was like, oh my God, I really made it to North Korea. It was fascinating in every single way. Correct or incorrect, my impression of Armenia, it felt like maybe how the United States would be in the 40s and 50s. It felt kind of a little old-fashioned in a good way. I go to restaurants and people were all dressed up in their Sunday best. So Armenia's just got this old school swagger. Now's not the time to go to Venezuela. They're fighting for food and it's a really, really tough time for the Venezuelan people. My most vivid memory about Venezuela is I'm walking through downtown Caracas, somewhere that I shouldn't be. I'm looking at long lines of people waiting for food at the grocery store and just all this terrible stuff. Then I hear music, and as I turned the corner, a group of 20 or 30 senior citizens were salsa dancing in the park, and it brought tears to my eyes. It was so beautiful. No matter how bad times are, no matter how many things are taken away from you, they can never take away the music. Most tourists go to Bali. I skipped Bali and I went straight to Jakarta. I've never seen so many mega malls in my life, but the parks were beautiful, and I went to a square where kids and adults were riding these big old-fashioned white bicycles. And then they saw me, just a guy from the USA, and they all wanted to take selfies with me. And they just showed me so much love. Philippines ranks at the top of my list because the people are the warmest, friendliest, and coolest people I've ever met in my life. The traffic in the Philippines is horrible. I don't know how these people can still stay as cheerful as they are, but everywhere I went, it didn't matter the area, people smiled at me and they just were the nicest and just welcomed me with open arms. I always get asked, what's my favorite country? And the answer for me is so easy because, well, it's the only country that I packed up everything, quit my job, left everything behind, and moved to. I found this city on the coast called Recife. I didn't even leave the airport, but passing over the shores of Recife, I saw these beautiful coral pastel-colored high-rises right along the beach. It kind of reminded me of Miami Beach. So on my next trip, I visited it. I found an apartment, and then I went back home and asked my boss if I could talk to him, and told him I was quitting and moving to Brazil, and it was one of the most exciting times of my life. I think my biggest tip for anyone traveling internationally is arrive with your mouth shut and your eyes, ears, mind, and heart open, and you'll be surprised at how much more love you have in your heart when you leave the country that you just visited, if you just allow yourself to take it all in.